Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I am Dr. Rashid Aftab, Director of Faculty of Public Policy, Rifa International University. On the behalf of the Rifa International University, I warmly welcome our two distinguished guests. One is an overseas guest, Dr. Samina Kareem, who is Director, School of Social Sciences, Bradford University. She has the expertise in the social work and as well as the working with the most vulnerable segment of the societies, and she has an extensive collaboration with the various education and the research institutions of Pakistan. And in this regard, right now she is on a visit to Pakistan as well, and looking forward for the collaboration in the areas of social sciences. Our second guest, she is Dr. Kulsoom Sumra Sahiba, who is Assistant Professor, Center of Policy Studies, ComSet Universities, who has an expertise in the local government system as well as the public management affairs, since it is a strong link between the social development and the public sector primarily all over the world. It's primarily the job of the public sector to deliver the social services in accordance with the needs of the citizens of the respective countries. So today what we are going to discuss, we will try to deliberate some light on the social a correlation between the social development and sustainable development of the country, particularly in context with Pakistan. So since when we talk about about the social development, it means the human development, and when we talk about the development means it has got a various dynamics. It may be in context with the education, it may be in context with the health, water, sanitation, livelihood, the most vulnerable segment of the societies, which and the gaps which exist right now between the in perspective of the disparity and the inequality. And since there is a strong nexus and a strong relationship between the social development and economic development, unless until the social development is not achieved, it's very hard for any of the country to achieve higher growth rate. So first of all, Dr. Samina, what do you think about it, when how this social work is related with the development agenda of Pakistan?
So in terms of social work, I think as a profession, it's key to achieving and impacting on the lives of people. One of the things I would like to say is that actually social work as a profession in Pakistan needs further support, further development, so that it can be a systemic part of what we are doing in terms of social growth. Because the connections between social work and social policy are absolutely critical. So that's what I'd like to say on that subject.
So you talk about the integration of the social work to be reflected in our social policies. Dr. Sumra, one aspect जो मैं देखता हूँ, which is quite alarming, that we have a various stratas or the various segments of societies exist in the country. And there are serious challenges exist with the most vulnerable segment of the society or the poorest of the poor. They are quite they are much more vulnerable than the other segment of the society. So what do you think, which segment of society are the most vulnerable in Pakistan, and what are their key challenges at the moment?
Right now, as the urbanization is rapidly increasing, तो हम उसमें देखते हैं कि the slum areas or the side areas are too much developed and the people are migrating to urban areas. अब उसमें जो the people who are marginalized, they are the poor segment of the society. But unfortunately in Pakistan, the people who were the middle income people, who were the middle class of the society, in my point of view, they are more facing challenges than the poor class of the society, because they are the white collars people, and for them there is no, we can say that social support for them. But there are a lot of societies, and we can say a lot of organizations, the ones who are helping to the beggars or to the poorest segment of the society. But the social work for the old age people and for the middle class, especially the ones who are suffering because of the transition, and you can say the economic transition in the country, and due to lot of other changes. So that's why we have to have some kind of policies for the orphanage people, the ones who are from the middle class, because problem is this, that our social institution is first our family. But Pakistan is having a structure of families very bound, and there is no check and balance, because there is a lot of stuff that is going on, the people are suffering there, and everything is over, but the state is not intervening into that, because this one is the private area of the families and all that. So that's why the state or the social policy should also be there for the old age people of those families, or the people who are you can say that they are alone people, or the orphanage kids. So the state has to intervene into that, so that they have to shape a social policy for that segment of society also, because they are more suffering into social issues.
Absolutely, absolutely. Dr. Samina, Dr. Kulsoom just highlighted that interventions which are very much required for bringing a change in the social fabric, particularly in context with the various classes of the social system. One of the most vulnerable segment of society are the children.
Yes.
What do you think of what kind of a specific interventions are required? So this segment, obviously orphanage are the part of the children classification.
Yeah.
So whether those intervention at the level of the legislative instruments or the policy instruments, or at the program or the projects level?
Yeah. So I think that there's lots of things that have been done, but there's still more that we can do. There's two strands for me, I think, that are particularly important. Firstly, I think we need to improve the way we prevent certain things from happening, whether that's to children, to elder people, and the suffering that people experience within society. The second thing is, when these things do happen, we need to become better at responding to them. Because actually we might work either preventatively or responsively in terms of reactionary, but what we find hard to do is to work on both at the same time. When we think about interventions, yes, we've got lots of policies. We all know also that actually on the ground level, you know, the difference that these policies are making or legislation is making is probably quite low in terms of its impact and quite marginal. So change needs to occur, yes, from a top-down perspective in terms of structurally, but also from a bottom-up perspective. So where we need to engage communities more, where they need to become quite involved and buy into what support is actually available. And in line with what the doctor here was saying about, you know, there's certain segments of society which are ignored. Actually, what I think would be really great is for us to have social work as a profession which is accredited and regulated, and actually serves a state function in some ways, I guess, because ultimately, you know, our government and our state is responsible for the welfare of people. Now, a lot of that work is being carried out by NGOs who do fantastic stuff. But as we know, some of the projects are very short term, limited. So in terms of the infrastructure we have, there's so much more we can do to kind of embed it so that actually it's always available and it's accessible to everybody, not just particular communities, not just particular age people, but it's there for all.